Hey everybody, what's up, man? Let's hold the truth hostage. If the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Now, I'm gonna try to do these little videos called Quick Truth. Now, the quick truth is that, and shout out to the homies on the Discord, man. If you haven't joined the Philosophy Discord, then you're not into some deep, well thought out conversations. Now I was talking to some of the homies, man, and they reminded me to talk about this. Now, I think these are the 5 rules you need to listen to. These are 5 rules you need 5 rules, you know what I'm saying, you need to look at to see if someone's scamming you in the manosphere or just offering you some information that just leads to your destruction. Now, rule one, rule one is this, and they'll talk about this. They'll talk about testosterone. They'll talk about how, oh, testosterone is lower than it's ever been before. Men are far less manly. Their testosterone is low. You know what I'm saying? And it's because we're weaker men. We're weaker men. That's why our testosterone is low. When in reality, we don't work in caves, we don't work in mines. We don't build, rail stations with our own hands anymore. You know, the man is usually more corporate, man. Has more things going on than the old days of, hitting things with hammers. Even building and construction, we use a lot less tools. And you also got to be aware that, this high testosterone they're talking about, a lot of men died earlier in their ages because of that constant testosterone and stress. You have to understand that we no longer live in a society where a man is working with his bare hands and no tools, barely if not any tools that minimize and ease life. You see, that's rule one. Rule one, they'll talk about low testosterone. Now, rule two, you'll notice is that they'll talk about this, good times breed weak men. Hard times breed strong men. They're gonna talk about this as a defining factor that you're a weak man because it's good times breed weak men. You're gonna see this in the manosphere a lot. When in reality, man, you know what I'm saying? Good times breed opportunity. Good times do not breed weak men. Good times breed opportunity, and far more opportunity. I mean, we're in the age, in the year 2020s, 2010s, technology. You can work remotely. There's so much opportunity for a man to succeed these days when it comes to business and work and labor. You know what I'm saying? So that whole narrative of good times breeds weak men, you want to know what it's really from, their way of thinking? It's really because their narrative, man. Their narrative is that anytime a man can prioritize himself, not war, not combat, not basically sacrificing his life, you know what I'm saying, ending his life, then it's a bad time. Because, they often like to reference the wars and the struggles. Yeah, it's good times. That's right. The hard times, men going through war, men going through what I'm saying, famine, men going through great depressions, recessions. These are times men get stronger. That's right. When you have less opportunity, you're at the barrel of struggle and hardship. That's when it's the best time to be a man. Not when there's clarity, peace, a sign that your society's stable, so you can think about what you want to do with your life, and you have far more opportunities to succeed. These are bad times. You see, they're basically saying that it's actually wrong for men to have a time and a moment of peace. So, that's rule two. Rule two is they'll bring up that good times breed weak men, even though in the year 2010s, 2020s, there are far more successful men than ever before. Because, you could become successful without even leaving your home. You know what I'm saying? Now, rule three, they'll speak about this. And this rule is very soldierous. Rule three is they'll bring up, a woman can't love you the way you can love her. And they're gonna say, only a man can love a man the way he should be loved. Basically, they're subliminally suggesting that you play for the non-straight team. In the Manosphere, there's a lot of men in the Manosphere, I'd say from the lesser pill community. And the lesser pill community is mostly the red pill, purple pill, and pink pilled community. You know what I'm saying? The greater pill community is the black pill, the gold pill, and the gray pill, and even the dark gray pill. They're pillars that really affect your life at the greatest level. So now what you'll see is they'll bring this up, that only a man can love a man the way he should be loved. Basically, they're implying that you should play for the other team. You shouldn't be straight, really. And if you do a lot of research in the red pill manosphere, you'll see a lot of sus soldiers. Now, what is a sus soldier? A sus soldier is basically a man in the closet that's trying to recruit straight men into the closeted team. You'll see that a lot. And the thing they say about only a man can love you the way you should be loved, it's implying that a woman's love for you is inferior, when in reality, only a woman can love you the way a woman can, and her love and her appreciation from you comes from a different perspective. It comes from the female perspective. So of course it won't be the same as a man, because A, she's a woman, and B, it's coming from a point of submission. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from a point of submission rather than the alternative, And one of the homies told me this. He told me, the only time you'll get the love from a man that you would require is from your father. If your father can love you, that's usually the closest you'll get to as a straight man to, getting that emotional support and love and care from another man, which is your father. You know what I'm saying? A fatherly love in your life, whatever. Now, rule four, you're gonna hear this in the manosphere, and this is rule four. You're gonna hear men basically tell you, and I've seen this a lot, I won't name any names, but you'll hear this in the manosphere a lot from the lesser pill community. They'll tell you that, if only, some of them will suggest that if only there were less men in the world, if only a war happened and, 50% of men were to, be deleted, go to war, die, something would change. When in reality, if you're in the United States, you look at a place such as Georgia and, Atlanta, where I think there's about 3 to 4 women per one man, the laws have not changed at all. You know what I'm saying? The law on child support, the laws on, the family court, marriage, divorce, none of those have changed, which means it doesn't matter how many men are available. The laws do not change. You know what I'm saying? The laws do not change. So these guys will openly suggest that, more men should die so they have an opportunity to obtain more female validation or relationships, when in reality the laws do not change at all. Now, this is rule 5. This is rule 5. You know what I'm saying? Damn, my brain is a little... Yeah, rule 5. Rule 5 is they're gonna suggest that, we can change the law. We can change the laws, and they're going to suggest that you as a man, for seeking a better opportunity for yourself when it comes to family and starting a family, obtaining a wife or multiple women, that they're going to call you a coward because you are going overseas. They're going to call you a coward for going overseas, or they're going to attempt to belittle you for going overseas to start a family, or, obtain a solution that you can't obtain domestically. Because the reason for this is that they honestly, some of them suffer from a delusion where they honestly think you can fight to change the system. That's right. You men can come together and fight to legally change the system, change the laws, when you have to go against trillion-dollar corporations, $1 trillion government, and the female vote and your fellow man's vote, So they really think you can change that. That's right. You guys have given up. You've given up on your country because you don't want to fight the good fight to change the laws in the system, when in reality, you as a man, you have your own life to live. And the way the country's designed, as it stands right now, you can make a lot of profit and money. You know what I'm saying? You can make a lot of money, and your best bet as a man as it stands is to just invest your money into growing your money domestically, then go overseas to obtain what you can't obtain domestically within the legal system, domestically. For example, you start a family here, you're at a disadvantage, You're at a disadvantage as a man, so your best bet as a man is you start that family overseas, because in the domestic system, the math is very simple. Woman plus legal system equals disadvantage. And the disadvantage isn't exactly on the man's shoulder. The disadvantage is actually mostly on the woman's shoulder, because that woman, due to the legal system, will not ever experience the healthy and stable authority that a man can provide within her life with authority. So, what you're going to see, we live in the United States where, it's an automated society. Now, what is automated? Automation is that the society, the men, now it's problematic for the men to start or have personal investment in that society, such as starting a family and so on, where it's automated when all you can do to benefit in the society is labor and working to make income and money. That's when the society is automated. Once your personal life is removed from the table, where you can't start a family, where it becomes high risk, high risk for a reward where you can lose access to it. That society is automated. Now what else? I think there's a bonus rule. I think it's, I got to think about the bonus rule. I think the bonus rule, Rule 6, what would Rule 6 be? I'm trying to remember it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Rule 6, it's a bonus rule. The bonus rule would be, and the sign you'll see from these men is that in the Manosphere, from the lesser pill community, is they'll be really antagonistic towards you if you think or you choose to look for solutions that are global rather than domestic. For example, you'll compare the world, on a global spectrum to your domestic setting. So, a lot of these men in the Manosphere will not, in the lesser pill community, advertise that your solutions are overseas. They're not domestic. For example, there's countries where you don't have to worry about no fault divorce. There's countries where you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about child support and the government overstepping its boundaries between the relationship between man and woman. So there's other countries where your solutions are, the greatest thing, and America's a great country, the great country, for business opportunity, it's great. But it's reached to the point where it's corroded and corrupted the meaning of family and family values. Even in the West, even in the so-called conservative states, you have a guy in New York, Texas, battling to prevent his son from having a sex change. Even the so-called conservative states aren't truly conservative because the government as a core has been corrupted when it comes to the narrative of starting a family and so on. So the government's become corrupted when it comes to that, starting a family and family values, because those family values are built on a man providing stability rather than the government. And the government would rather favor, dysfunction and delusion and a destabilized family so these people can participate in the government structure without much intervention. Because if you as a man, the biggest investment you as a man can make domestically is your seed, where you have your children in that system. You provide them with future citizens. You provide them with a lot of income that comes with that child, spending more, increasing salary, because that child needs provision, any protection and provision. So a lot of men will look at you when you suggest, and this is in the lesser pill community, in the Manosphere, you'll notice they never bring up solutions that are foreign rather than domestic. The majority won't. The majority will just keep complaining about, gynocentricism, what they call that word? I forget the word. Yeah, feminism and all that. They're going to keep promoting that. But they won't promote that you as a man, you can always take your seed overseas, and then you live in America. If you live in America and other countries from the West, a lot of countries have bases in other countries, or I forget the word, but they have, they have representation for their country. So your country domestically is already spread out overseas. Now, this is one more rule, Rule 7. Rule 7, you could even flip it. In fact, you know what? Yeah, Rule 7 is they're going to blame everything on the lesser pill community, on feminism, women, when in reality, the women were not the ones who passed all the legal bills and laws that we have today. You got to understand, in 1920, the women were given a vote, same equal level of votes as the men, and it was all written by men. It was man-made. These men created these laws. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the women. The women did not create the laws. Feminism is nothing more than a man-made agenda. You know what I'm saying? It's a man-made agenda. That's what it is. And once you realize it's a man-made agenda, it's not this evil, thing women, they've been talking about in lesser pill community. Your mind becomes clear. You know what I mean? In truth, we know this in the black pill community. You know what I'm saying? They even know it in the gray pill community. The women are not the problem legally. It's never been the women. Legally, it's been your fellow man who wants to fuel the government. And, the government has no challenge, nothing to keep it in check but itself, which is total corruption. Because, there is no yang, there is no yin, to the government's yang, or, well, there's no yang, whatever, yin and yang. There's none of that with the government. The government just operates. So rule 7 is really, man, a lot of these guys in the manosphere will constantly blame women. And, and if you fall into that narrative, you're going to actually start aligning yourself mentally to a point of weakness. Because if a man is blaming a woman and basically claiming women are the strongest, most powerful threat to men's freedom and men's, justice and all that crap, that man has just admitted that he's lesser than a woman and he's weak. You know what I'm saying? That's his worst fear, when it's all man-made. You know what I'm saying? That's rule 7. You watch out for these rules when you watch someone making content in the manosphere, and you'll be able to tell whether they're providing content to help you or they're providing content to maintain a level of dysfunction and fear within you that traps you in a loop of misery. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Michael Foster. He said they're merchants of misery, because that's what they do. They sell you misery, and they sell you constantly, keep you in a loop of misery where you cannot get better. And they weaponize the imagery of women, as your fatal enemy, your worst enemy on earth, in the country, when in reality, the women are not. It's really your governing body, which has inherited its laws and stipulations from men from over 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? If you do your history, you'll notice that women were given the right to vote literally less than 20 years after prostitution was made illegal and, polygamy was made illegal by your fellow man who passed the bill in 1920. So when you do the math, how, you start understanding what women were in office in the 1920s. What women? There were none. So you realize it's all a man-made problem. You know what I'm saying? The so-called feminism is man-made, and it's actually a Trojan horse by the government. We'll create feminism, get all these men distracted to attack and name feminism as the ultimate threat to their lives, when in reality, it's all government made. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said before on one of the rules, in Texas, so-called conservative state, a man is fighting to avoid his son, who's a young kid, from having a sex change by his wife, who's trying to abuse her authority as a mother. You see? And that's so-called a conservative state. Because at the end of the day, whether the state is conservative or liberal, it don't matter. They're all government. That's, the government. It ain't about putting the people first. It's about putting the government agenda first. So, but, this has been Hold the Truth hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Peace.